What's up, YouTube? This is the second hour of the Moonshots. Today we are focused on the problem of power. We have a planet. We have a robopod. It's like way more violent than that. If you recall from last week, we went over a system of high latency control systems where we have a bunch of people on Earth playing in a simulator. We ship the actions from that simulator over to another planet where AI enacts it. The idea being that we want to build shelters and support systems for humans to eventually go there. That's the high latency control. However, when you have robots on the surface of another planet, you do need power for them. And today, we're going to be solving that problem of power. The robots that we shipped over to the other planet, they're going to be dumb. It's kind of like the meat puppet version of us. There's no control systems in it. It is literally just a bunch of actuators.
Today, you're stuck with me for 2 or 3 minutes because I forgot to turn on the microphone. One of the most important clips of the whole video. Silly me. So, what did you miss? Main things are we were looking into how we can get the bots there, how we can power them, and what type of power we want to use to power the bots. So right away, you're probably thinking that these bots would have a battery pack on them, and you're probably right. Actually, you are right. We decided that we'd put battery packs on them. So my brother did the math, and he found out roughly how much battery life you would need to power these robots doing this physical kind of labor for 12 hours a day. Now, something that you have to consider here is the weight to duration of these batteries, right? You can have a battery that lasts forever, but if it's so heavy that it keeps the robot from being able to do its job, that's a bad battery. That doesn't solve the problem. So with those constraints in mind, the best idea my brother had was to have 18 batteries per robot per day. These 18 batteries would give it a 12-hour work life, and they would be 7.5 kilowatt hours each. That's a lot of energy. Now then, thinking about charging those batteries and what the best avenue for doing that is, again, right away you might think solar. Solar is usually how we do these kinds of things in space. We don't have a giant extension cord going up to the International Space Station, but we do have some big solar panels on the side of it. It makes sense. Inside of our solar system, that's kind of the one constant energy source we know we have. Here on Earth, we have oil and we have wind and we have, dams with water. Almost none of those are guarantees on other planets. Wind is pretty common. Water is not. Oil really is not. So that being said, there's only so many options we have. Solar seems like a good idea, but my brother did the math and it would actually take 2,300 square feet worth of solar panels in order to charge these batteries. And that's for one robot. That is absurd. So instead, what we decided on as being the best option for this, nuclear. I know what you're thinking. Wow, these guys are some real geniuses. But we can't take all of the credit. Now, a lot of this comes from NASA's Artemis plan, which actually includes putting nuclear fission reactors onto the moon and then having them produce power there. They plan to do this by as soon as 2030, which I think is pretty absurd. Now, since NASA said it's a good idea, it must be a good idea because NASA has never made a mistake ever. Ever. None. So now we've got a way to get power. We've got a way to store it in the robots. But how do we swap out those battery packs? This is actually where my idea comes in, and I'm rather proud of it. We're calling it the lifeguard robot. So you see, when all these nuclear power plants have arrived on the planet, there's going to be a sort of radius around them that we'll call the safety zone. And that safety zone is where the lifeguard robot can reach. Now, what is this lifeguard robot, you're asking? Great question. The lifeguard robot will actually be hardwired into the power grid that we've established on the planet. The idea here is that it can never have a dead battery. So while the other robots will have their batteries die, they come to this lifeguard robot, and he's the one that actually changes the batteries on those other robots. Now, this is a pretty foolproof design, and we did entertain other options. Originally, we were thinking, oh, the robot will just change its own battery. But then you think about it for more than 2 seconds, that robot pulls its own battery out. That's like pulling your own beating heart out. That's not good. You need that to live. That's why this lifeguard seems like a good idea. Because even then, if there's unknown obstacles on the way back to the nuclear power plants, as long as they make it to that safety circle radius, they're good. The lifeguard robot will get to them. And maybe we could even give that robot some basic tools or supplies to repair the other robots. Seems like a pretty good idea to me. And then the final question is, how does all of that get there? So this has been a big problem that SpaceX has been tackling for a long time on how exactly we get things to Mars safely that far away and have it land smoothly and everything, right? That's the whole Falcon project. Is trying to make these rockets that take off, land, and then they can take off again. Well, that's the thing, there's no people going with this, so it doesn't need to take back off again. And it doesn't even need to land at all. What we're thinking is we will have these payload sort of pods. And these pods will just smack into the surface and those will split open and spread out. My brother actually expands on this really well in a video where I did remember to turn the microphone on. So I'm gonna go ahead and let him take care of the rest of this.
As you can see on the drawing behind me, this is what it's going to look like after the reactors have hit. So reactors have hit the planet and now they are ready for use with the lifeguards sitting next to them. Basically the lifeguards, you can see there's a top-down view and a side view. The side view up top here, it shows the reactors and the lifeguards. And then the top-down view also shows the reactors and lifeguards. I just wanted to show that there's like a dashed line. That's where the lifeguards can get to. Over there you can see now we have robot pods. There's about 4 robots per pod for no reason. And they're headed towards the same planet that our reactors are on. I just wanted to show you that the little balls are going to hit the big ball, and then the robots, they come out of there, out of the little balls. I also added them to the top-down view so you can see that they're in the safe zone, and the lifeguards are capable of deploying them in some meaningful way. Whoa, dang, that's awesome. You gotta love it, right? Like a pretty sick system. Okay, another addition. We have battery bays now. It's going to become clear that our main design technique for getting things to Mars is just to slam it into Mars. We're doing that with the battery bays as well. Basically, the battery bays are just these giant cubes, rectangular cubes that have batteries in them, and they'll have one plug from the reactor to the battery bay. I forgot to draw it. Let me draw it. Just drawing, That's life. Okay, I've now wired up all of the reactors to the battery bay. You can see that we have this daisy chain technique of nuclear reactors. I have no idea what the wire thickness, radius, whatever requirement it is for the amps that we'll need to charge those, but basically 18 battery packs per robot per day. 50 robots is what we're going for, and I forgot to calculate in the lifeguards, so let's subtract like 4 robots and we'll be good. This is our system as it stands. We now have power for the robots, and thanks to Jack's innovation, we have lifeguards now. So when the robots make mistakes and fall over, as long as they're in a safe zone, the lifeguard will take care of them. That's awesome. Yeah, so this is our system now. Next week, look forward to how we're gonna connect AI, this whole thing, because I'm pretty sure that's the final missing piece for our interplanetary long latency control system. Yeah. All right, thanks for joining us for another Moonshot. This is a series that we plan to do until the end of time. Really liking the design. Design is great. We have reactors, we have battery bays, we have robots, we have lifeguards. We've got everything that's needed for a robot to be up there except for a brain. Next week, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a brain up there. It's gonna be awesome. You know how the brains work. You talk to them, ChatGPT's something like a brain. Yeah, just imagine that, except at scale on another planet, controlling the construction of things. It'd be really interesting, right? Like hallucinations, what are those? That'd be really cool. Next week, probably putting some robot brains out there. Please like, subscribe, comment. And it's really hot in here. If someone can sponsor like some lights that are not heaters, that'd be cool.